Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Shift with Ann. Today we're going to talk about connection, about attachments, and the way we relate to other people. Last night I had a wonderful conversation with a group of young people, all teenage girls, and we were talking about relationships because I'm learning a lot about relationships right now. I am taking a course about how to attract a better partner because I'm looking for a partner. I have been divorced for many years and I'm ready to have a serious relationship again. So I decided rather than just attract the same type of person again, that I would try to do it in a better way. So I thought I'd do some internal work so that I could figure out how to attract somebody who's really good for me instead of maybe not so good. Instead of the next person who comes along, which I've done that before. I've done that already. I don't believe that it's about fate. That person's going to just walk into your life and suddenly you're going to be awestruck and, it was the prince. He showed up and swept me off my feet and off we rode into the sunset. I think we can make a conscious effort to attract the kind of person that we want. So these young people were talking about, how disappointing it can be and that they like someone and that person plays little games with them, cat and mouse, like run away, come back, run away, come back. Now, I recently read a book regarding this subject called Attached. I don't know the author. I could maybe put it in the title here of the video, but it's an amazing book about how we relate to others and the style of attachments that we have. There are 3 different styles of attachment. One is secure, where you can handle whatever comes along and you're good at communicating and relating to your partner and telling them your needs and also listening to their needs and filling them and doing your best to try to bridge the gap. And then there's the anxious style, which is me, I'll admit, and a lot of women are this type of attachment style. And it basically is that you need a lot of attention. You need a lot of affection and reassurance. Maybe you're a little bit insecure about it. And you need to be told daily that things are good. And you have a tendency to get activated when things don't go as you hope. So the third attachment style is the avoidant style. And that's what can activate that attachment of anxious. If you're with an avoidant style person is a little afraid of intimacy. They tend to avoid it. They will get close and then sabotage or run away or do something that, pushes that person, keeps them at a distance. And maybe they have a certain ideal and no one can ever quite live up to it. I know a few people like that and they've never married and never had children, but because they just never met that ideal person. And really, you have to make some concessions in order to have a relationship. And there's probably thousands of people you could be happy with. That's a tough row to hoe. But what happens a lot of times is an avoidant will get together with an anxious, and it'll really wreak havoc on the anxious person because the avoidant will allow that person to get close to them, and then as soon as they're close, they run away. And it's suddenly you're like, oh, well, you're staring at your phone waiting for the text and saying, oh no, he loves me. He told me we were so close that weekend or that day or at that moment. And then suddenly they don't talk to you for a week, or they don't call you or don't text, or you text them several times and no return text. They ghost ya. Nothing worse than that. And they tend to not communicate that they need space. It's best for an avoidant to be with somebody secure and let them know that they are, they need their space. And that secure person could, has to really need their space too, maybe. And then that can work out. But you get 2 avoidants and they never talk to each other. They're like, hey, you never called me. Or they never even bother to say that. They just move to the next person. So I think you need to be aware of what your needs are, and let people know what those needs are, and don't settle for something else. And when you start noticing those things that activate your anxiousness, you need to step away, perhaps, or pick someone else. Hate to say it, but they might not be good for you. Or express yourself to them, and if they don't respond, you cannot keep doing that. They're not going to change. It's going to stay the same. So my opinion is, look for someone who's secure, work on your attachment style and becoming more secure, and communication and boundaries. Those two words are huge in the relationship realm. Communication and boundaries. Yeah. And also allowing others space to be themselves. Don't always try to fix things right away. Try to go in and say, oh, I had to learn that I just let the person be for a while, and then you'll kind of know where you stand. If they really like you, they're going to pursue you. You need to allow that person the room to pursue, especially as a woman, to stay in the feminine. Some people might not like that, but if you want a masculine man, you got to be feminine. So, do your best to work on your attachment style and being able to communicate well what your needs are, and set your boundaries and stick to them. Do not break your own boundaries, because when you do, you're just going to cause a lot of agitation for yourself. And you created it. They didn't. You allowed it. We get what we tolerate. It's a big quote. We get what we tolerate. It was written, somebody wrote that on my whiteboard at work. I think it was Erin LaGrassa. She left that quote for me, and I have to agree that we get what we tolerate. So set what you want and go after that, and don't settle for something else. Okay? And I hope that you have happy, secure relationships and have a great weekend. Might not put this out on a Friday, but so have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow.